Uranium friends, you look as I look. So the ETFs, URA, URNM, URNJ. So we've been talking about the 4-hour charts, and I'm still on those right now. Okay, just so we can see, because we want to talk about how bottoms are formed and what we want to see. So if you recall, because we've been following this from basically from the bottom, right? We get your trend change, you have your pivots, and now you still have this move. This is the first part of follow through, right? So it makes its trend change, holds, continues on to higher price. That is the beginnings, one of the requirements of follow through. Right. The second requirement is volume, and but if you look at these volume patterns, I want to just pull up URA on its own. If you look at the volume patterns, some will call it accumulation type of volume, right? So you have, and I'm just looking down here. I'm not even messing with anything else. Just look down here, right? So you have these green bars with the buying, and you have these red bars, which are much lower. Okay. So, a lot of people that are building a position, if someone wants to build a position in URA right now, what are they going to do? Well, they're going to buy. Let's just use, for the sake of all, just ease of use here, 100 shares. So they buy their 100 shares. It makes this little bit of a move into like some resistance or whatever. They sell 50. Comes back down, they'll buy 100 again. Or maybe they buy 50. Okay. And then if it's me, I'm buying, I'm buying a decent amount here. I'm buying my 100. I'm selling my 50 up here. I'm rebuying I'm buying another 100. So now I'm at 150 shares. Then I'm selling another 50 shares here. So I'm back to 100 shares. Just doing things like that. Um, Anybody that's trying to accumulate with keeping their cost basis down in their risk base, their risk, keeping risk mitigated. Sorry, that's what they're doing. They're kind of just like chopping away at it, buying some, selling half, buying some, selling half, buying some, selling a quarter, whatever they do. That's how you see these types of volume patterns, right? So it's the buys and then put the partial sells, the buys, the partial sells, the buys, the partial sells. That's how it kind of, believe it or not, is, that's reflective, in my opinion. We're starting to see more and more that this is capitulation volume, right? So big ramp up in volume in this down move, capitulation volume. It's starting to look like that. Doesn't mean it actually is. So again, the follow through is we got past the higher high in the 4-hour, right? That's check mark one. Check mark two, what we really want is we want to see volume. You're starting to see volume ramp. So that's another good sign for follow through. Now, just as much as we're looking for the 4-hour trend change, but guess what? We're going to be looking for the daily trend change. And anything above this high is still good because it's really all just one move. So you're going to start looking for a shape that looks like this, right? That's our next move. We've achieved our 4-hour trend change. We're good. We're good to go with that. We've achieved it. Now we want to start looking for the daily trend change. So again, I say it over and over. All technical analysts, all of them here, will call this all one move. There's no defined pivot, so you're going to be looking for a pivot. Super aggressive is buying into this level here. That's what super aggressive is doing into this 4-hour pivot, this 4-hour higher low. This becomes, let's get that out of the way. This becomes an important level. Okay, 2420, and it's showing here's your volume support, right? So they're starting to build volume support here on a 4-hour. It's that simple. That's what we're looking for next. We are looking for the daily trend change with confirmation. Wherever that ends up being, don't know what it's going to be. URNM is a little bit different. It's struggling a little bit more, believe it or not. URNJ is actually seeing, in my opinion, a little bit more buying pressure than URNM, which is fine. People want the torque of the juniors. So this is not great follow through as opposed to URA. And URA would make sense to me, right? Because more money is going to the larger money is going to go into URA. This is not seeing as much follow through. So we have to, I want to see more. I want all three ETFs moving in concert. I posted about it, right? This is a 4 hour. It's hard to even define a pivot here. So I guess you would do it here, but this is it need I want to see a defined pivot. That's just basically what it comes down to. Now I will point out that this move here, this recovery, it's very different from this recovery. This was actually a pretty good looking recovery, right? And it failed, but you're starting to see just this little grind. I love to see the grind. And then if you paid attention enough into the uranium sector, you get these grinds, and then all of a sudden you get a volume pop. So um, this is a better look. It's a different look, but it's not doing anything differently, right? So it's riding down this 12 EMA. Nice little breakout fake out there. Still riding down the 12 EMA and still hitting resistance here on the daily. So it's not I'm neutral on this. I don't see anything special about it, which makes me be more cautious in the space in general, right? Because I want them all moving together. Um, URNJ far. What is this? That's the 4 hour. Hold on. We just go to the daily for a second here. Yep, rejection there at the 12. So URA is now using the 12 as support. The other two are using it as rejection. You do need to see that dynamic change. So in that respect, URA is the leader at the moment. So URNJ 4 hours. Just see how the 4 hour looks. Yeah. Um, it's tough. I mean, this is a pivot. There is a little bit of a pivot here. So it does become an important level. Even if it's not a really clear pivot, it is defining a pretty significant level right here at, let's just say 1820, that area. It's a level that's giving some importance just as much as this level is, right? So remember, this is a 4 hour chart. So um, you buy anywhere in here, and you're either using this level or you're using this level as your stop levels. That's really what it comes down to. I think that it's getting through this volume node, which is cool. So um, like for me, URNJ, a low risk play is any of these pullbacks into this area. Even if I decide to work off this absolute low, it's viable. It's absolutely viable. Did we get an increase in volume? No. Did URNM get the increase in the daily volume? Yeah, a little bit. I mean, that's starting to grind up, which is a little bit better. This is good volume here. This was some entry volume, maybe. I don't know, but that's good volume. So those are the ETFs. I posted today about some weekly trend changes. So I want to go to weekly charts real fast. Let's see who's doing what. I'm sorry, not weekly trend changes, but the weekly higher. This weekly low is set. And what does that mean? All it means is that this high of last week was 40.52. CCJ took that out already this week. So 41.10. So that makes this low set for now. Coincides right with this level too. I'm gonna put alert there, and it's yeah. There you go. Key level, right? So this is the big level right now, and just see when does it coincide with a monthly level? It does. So if this and it's anchored VWAPs, and it makes sense that there's a bounce here technically. And it's doing the typical CCJ 3 month, 4 month consolidation, right? 3 months. This is a little bit more. This was 4, right? That's a typical CCJ time technical analysis type of stuff for the monthly. This is what it does. 3 and 4 months. But this concept is what's important, right? So once you take out the previous candle's high, you can say that low is set. whatever that previous candle low is. So you can transfer that to any time frame you want, right? So this low was set once this high was taken out, right? So the this daily low was set the very next day, and it has not looked back yet. Okay, that was last week. Closing above the 12 EMA, a little bit of a curl here. Um, Decent little, it's a small little volume ramp. CCJ has been, I don't know, it's been a little bit slow lately, but we're talking about the weeklies now. So weekly low is set. Denison didn't do it yet, right? So it's double topping on the weekly. So you have to, you start to make a choice now, and you say, all right, well, it's rejecting at the daily 12 EMA, whereas CCJ is over at daily 12 EMA. You start to make those comparisons, and then you start to decide: do I want to chase a laggard because it hasn't done it yet, or the laggard's telling me that this move is no good yet? We don't know, right? Little bit of an increase in volume. We like to see that, but we still have not taken out last week's high. I suspect if there's continuation tomorrow, market wide, without all this craziness going on, maybe it takes it out. It's good to watch it. Encore, same deal. Didn't take out last week's high yet. So CCJ is still proving stronger. Daily 12 EMA still proving to be the metric for full bear control on the daily chart, right? So the bears, it may not seem like it, may seem like it. I don't know. The bears are still in control here, right? Put that alert there for myself. Next one. I'm only doing big boards. I will talk about glow. I will go over it at some point, right? Right. Next gen, did it set its weekly low? It did. Much stronger than CCJ, right? So what's CCJ look like on the weekly? I just want to see a comparison there, right? So next gen is testing. It's 5 EMA. CCJ is nowhere near it yet. So big boards, next gen, leader. Lot of resistance to fight here, right? So got to get through all that stuff. But the weekly low is set. And why is it set? Because it took out last week's high. That's what we're looking at. Let's see what the daily looks like. Straight up move, right? So we're going to be looking for some sort of consolidation at some point. Let's get enough room here so that the consolidation ends up being a pivot onto these EMAs. Everybody's going to be happy. Next gen so far, strongest. Uranium energy. How's this looking? Come on. Another a nice one, nice move. So UEC also doing well, decently at least. A little bit of a lead, right? We went over to ETFs. URG, it did it. And it's a pretty good rejection, but it did it. So the weekly low is set. It's a nice little double bottom there. So these levels are starting to look a little bit better. Oversold, weekly oversold conditions. So is it weekly oversold bounce, full bear control until it takes out this weekly 12 EMA? Really, full bear control until it takes out the 5, and it rejected again at the 5. Rejected the 5 here, rejected at the 5 here, rejected at the 5 here, rejected at the 12s here. So you start to see what you're gonna be looking for as this move progresses, if it does, right? We first want URG to take out that 5 EMA. Then we want it to take out the 12. So there's work to do. There's absolutely work to do. So yeah, your consolidation might be starting here. Don't know. As long as this consolidation doesn't start until this yesterday's low gets broken down. But it's a really good base to work off of. This is low risk. In my opinion, these are low risk stuff. But this was low risk here too. So what do? You stop out. I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. If I'm bottom fishing like this, I know that the majority of the bottom fishes, they get beaten up, they get taken out. Even if you bottom fished over here, yeah, you got a nice little thing. Everything seemed great, got taken out. So it's a very low risk play because if you're wrong, you're wrong, and now you have to look at the next level. What would be the next level? I mean, we're down. We're close. So even in the longer term chart, like a monthly, URG is presenting itself as a low risk option. We have some really, really clear levels to work off of on multiple time frames. So it makes some sense to look at that, I would guess. I'll be in accumulation mode. That's the way I'm seeing it. UROY, nope, didn't do it. But this is not my favorite name for anything in the space. Honestly, for whatever reason, the only royalty company just maybe everybody thinks they just don't get the torque from it. It's possible. I don't know. But good work here. Nice rounding bottom. These are like accumulation looking things, higher green volume than lower red volume. This is stuff that you should be looking at as you're looking at the space, right? Buy a position, sell half. Rebuy a half, maybe a little bit more, sell another piece. It's kind of how bottoms are formed and how people accumulating will do it. It's a standard practice in the stock market in sectors for decades. Energy fuels, I'm sure it didn't do it, right? Yeah. Double topped. Right? You could start to separate your names. I mean, it's super weak. I have no idea why energy fuels is this weak. Everybody knows I do my boxes video. This is an auto buy area for me. I just know it is. It's a very low risk spot. It's an auto buy for me. I don't have to go big. I've got another level right here, a piece of structure that I can use as my stop area when I'm buying down here, right? Same thing, and it coincides with these highs. But on the weeklies, UUU still weak. What else do we got? That's it for the big boards. Let's take a look at SMR just for yeah, the weekly low here is set as well. These are levels that, depending on your risk tolerance and time frame tolerance, these are levels that you can be working off of, and they're fairly low risk. You just got to know, and this is a decent little pivot right here. So this is what would be important to me. That's the level that's important to me. If it comes down and talks to this level, touches it, becomes very low risk play, low risk bottom fish with this level to work off of, and one just below it. So this is starting to be an area. Let me just look at the monthly for a second. Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic. It's not. This is a bullish monthly chart. It's just that simple. It's really a bull flag. Yeah. So SMR, it's not a minor. I get it. All right. Yeah. Over and out.